All right, so today we're going deep on Drake.
Deep.
And we're going to try to figure out how this guy went from Canadian teen drama to global superstar
Icon, really?
to icon, yeah.
Yeah.
And but we're going to pull out what we think are the most important parts.
Yeah, the need to knows.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like if someone's like, I don't really know who Drake is.
Right.
Fill me in. This is the deep dive.
This is the deep dive for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just fascinating to me. This guy went from Degrassi,
Yeah.
Jimmy Brooks.
Yeah, Wheelchair Jimmy.
Wheelchair Jimmy,
Yeah.
yeah. And now he's one of the best-selling music artists of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has sold over 200 million records.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
And that makes him the highest certified digital singles artist in the U.S.
Which is a mouthful, but it's really impressive.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got 13 #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100
Which puts him tied with Michael Jackson.
for male solo artists.
Male solo artists, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, I mean, that just kind of gives you a sense of the scale.
The scope
Yeah, the scope of his
success.
success.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen overnight.
It definitely did not.
No, he started putting out mixtapes in the late 2000s.
Proper mixtapes. Back in the day when mixtapes were a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these weren't just oh, here's some random tracks. These were
Curated.
They were building a fan base.
Yeah.
They were strategically released.
Right.
And some of his early ones, like Room for Improvement, Comeback Season, really good.
Yeah.
He was very inspired by Jay-Z and Clips.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so if you listen back to those, you can kind of hear those influences. But even then, he had his own thing going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So he's obviously very talented, very driven.
Yeah.
But what was the moment? What was the thing
That tipped him over.
that tipped him over to superstardom?
Yeah.
Was it just timing, or was it a strategic move?
Well, I think a lot of it was timing,
Yeah.
right place, right time. But he definitely made some smart moves. The release of So Far Gone in 2009, I think that was
That was huge.
that was huge. He
Yeah.
gave that away for free online,
Interesting.
which, you couldn't buy that kind of buzz.
Right.
It just went viral and everyone was talking about Drake.
And that's when Lil Wayne and Young Money came knocking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was
Smart.
that was a power. I mean, it wasn't just about the money. It was about aligning himself with
A powerhouse.
the biggest name in the game at that time.
Yeah. Okay, so he's got the deal. He's got the fans.
Yep.
What's next?
Well, the studio album.
The studio albums.
Okay. So his first one, Thank Me Later,
Yeah.
that debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200,
Huge.
which is huge. For a debut album, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But then you get to his sophomore album, Take Care, in 2011.
This is where he wins his first Grammy, right?
This is the Grammy winner.
Best rap album.
Yeah, but it wasn't just the award.
What was it about this album that was
Critics loved it.
really
So they loved it.
interesting?
I think the production was really innovative.
Okay.
It had this blend of ambient sounds, harder hitting beats,
Okay.
and then lyrically, he was getting really introspective.
Okay.
This wasn't just party music, it was deeper. People
Yeah.
were connecting with it on an emotional level.
Well, he'd leveled up.
Yeah, he was showing his range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not just a hit maker at this point. He's
He's an artist.
he's an
Well, a
artist.
serious artist.
Yeah. Where does he go from there?
Well, he doesn't let up. In 2013, he releases Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah.
And it's a shift again.
Okay.
It's more confident, a little less ambient.
Okay.
He's really playing with the sound at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
And then 2015, boom. If you're reading this, It's Too Late drops out of nowhere.
The internet
The
explodes.
internet explodes, yeah.
Was that even an album?
Was it an album? Was it mixtape? Nobody knew.
It was a thing.
It was a thing.
It was definitely a thing.
But it topped the Billboard 200.
Of course.
And that was Drake just solidified his dominance in the streaming era.
He was this is how we do it now.
This is how it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to be successful, this is how you do it.
And I'm art.
Yeah.
Okay, but we've got to talk about his collaborations.
Oh, so many.
Because it seems like he's worked with everybody.
He has worked with pretty much everybody.
Yeah, is that just about staying relevant?
I mean, I think it's more than that. It's about pushing creative boundaries.
Yeah.
Look at his project with Future. What a time to be alive.
That was huge.
That was a cultural moment.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was more than just a mixtape. It was people were excited about it.
For sure.
And he doesn't just stay in like the hip hop lane.
Right.
Rihanna,
Riri, yeah.
Travis Scott,
Yeah, he's done stuff with Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. I mean, the list goes on and on.
It really does, yeah.
Like his features are almost like a guide.
Through music.
Yeah, through different genres and sounds.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just like hopping on a track together.
Okay.
Like these collabs become these strategic alliances.
Yeah.
They're amplifying each other's reach,
Right.
He's kind of like weaving this web
Yeah.
across the music landscape.
So it's not accidental.
Not at all.
It's very intentional.
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't talk about Drake without talking about Apple Music
Of course not.
and OVO sound.
I mean, that guy's a mogul.
He is, yeah.
The Apple Music deal, like that was huge.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, releasing Views as an exclusive,
Yeah.
like that drove subscriptions for Apple.
For sure.
And, it just solidified Drake as like
A streaming giant.
streaming king. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he just understood where music was going before anyone else did.
And capitalized on that.
Yeah, 100%.
And then there's OVO Sound, his own label.
It's more than a label. It's like
A lifestyle brand.
a lifestyle brand. They have clothing.
Yeah.
They do events. They have a flagship store in Toronto.
Yeah, it's like a whole world.
It's a whole world built around the music,
He's not just selling albums.
He's selling an experience.
An experience, yeah.
Yeah, and social media, like,
Oh my God, he's everywhere.
he's mastered it.
He has.
Instagram, Twitter, he uses those to connect with his fans.
Yeah.
Tease new music,
Yeah.
control the narrative. Like,
Yeah.
remember if you're reading this, it's too late. Dropped out of nowhere.
It was a thing.
That was a social media moment.
Yeah. Pure marketing genius.
Yeah, he keeps people guessing, like, what's he gonna do next?
Yeah, and that is part of the brand.
Exactly.
So we've got the music, the collabs, the business sense.
Yeah.
But what are the critics?
Ah, yes, the critics.
Yeah, I mean, he's achieved crazy success.
Incredible success.
But is there a sense that he's sacrificing artistry for commercial appeal?
I mean, some people definitely think that.
Okay.
There are definitely some critics out there who are like, his music is getting formulaic.
Right, like he's just chasing hits.
He's just putting out hits.
Yeah.
He's not pushing the boundaries anymore.
Right, and I've heard people say that his vulnerability
Yes.
feels
This
calculated.
exploitative, even
Yeah.
like, is he really being vulnerable, or is this a persona
Right.
to appeal to, a certain audience?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, where do you draw the line between artistic expression
Yeah.
and like image making?
It's tricky.
Yeah, and there are no easy answers.
No.
But it's a conversation worth having.
Definitely. It's a conversation that's happening right now.
It is.
It makes you think about the role of celebrity and
Yeah.
how we commodify emotion in today's culture.
100%.
But let's go back to the music for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about the Toronto sound, the singing, rapping blend, but is there anything else that stands out to you about his musical influence?
I mean, one of the most significant things is his embrace of global sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's not afraid to incorporate dancehall, UK drill, Afrobeat,
Right?
and he's exposing his massive audience to those genres that they might not have heard otherwise.
It's like he's a musical ambassador in a way.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's broadening, like, the sonic landscape of popular music.
And he does it with respect, too.
He does.
Like, he's not just appropriating.
No, he's collaborating.
He is, yeah.
He's building bridges.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's like he's reflecting the interconnectedness
Yeah,
of our world.
through music. It's like music can be this unifying force,
Yeah.
transcending borders.
Okay, before we move on to legacy,
Okay.
we have to address
Yeah.
Drake's relationship with women.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated.
It's a very complicated aspect of his persona.
Yeah, I mean, he's been accused of misogyny.
Objectifying women.
Yeah.
In his lyrics and his personal life.
It does seem like there's a pattern
There's a pattern.
of him romanticizing these women who are often like way younger than him
Yeah, much younger.
and then kind of discarding them
And writing songs about it.
and writing songs about it.
Yeah.
And that's been, some people criticize it.
Criticize and excused.
Excuse.
Yeah, like, oh, it's just part of the Drake persona.
But is it really that simple?
I don't know.
It raises questions about accountability
It does.
and like how do we hold celebrities accountable
Yeah.
for their actions, especially when they perpetuate like harmful stereotypes.
Especially when they're in such a powerful position. I mean, these are hard conversations. They are, yeah. But we have to have them.
We do. I think it's important to acknowledge these complexities
Yeah.
as we try to understand his impact, you know.
As we try to understand him as a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of impact, speaking of legacy,
Yes.
how do you think he'll be remembered?
I mean, he's already achieved legendary status.
He has.
I mean, he's broken records, he's won countless awards, he's sold millions and millions of records.
global icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think his legacy is going to be defined by just numbers.
Okay.
Like, he's changed what it means to be a successful artist.
In the 21st
For
century.
the 21st century, yeah.
He's a rapper, a singer, a businessman, a brand.
All of it.
Yeah, all rolled into one.
Yeah.
And he's used his platform to amplify voices, you know,
Yes.
from marginalized communities,
Yeah.
introduce new sounds.
To a global audience.
Yeah, and like his impact on the Toronto sound.
Oh, huge.
It's undeniable.
Undeniable.
He put the city on the map musically,
Absolutely.
and he's inspired a generation of artists.
He really has.
Yeah, and his willingness to experiment,
Yeah.
to incorporate global influences,
Yeah.
has like pushed the boundaries of hip hop
Of hip hop and pop music.
and pop music. Yeah,
Yeah. And his business sense.
yeah,
That alone.
it's inspiring.
Yeah.
He's changed the game.
He has changed the game.
Yeah, and I don't think he's done evolving.
I don't either.
So, but what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you think his legacy will be? Will he be seen as like a musical innovator, a savvy businessman,
A cultural icon?
or all of the above?
I mean, it's a fascinating question.
It is.
He's a complex.
He is a complicated, contradictory even.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to say, but
but he's one of the most important artists of our time.
undoubtedly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
How it all plays out.
how it all plays out.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think like we're living through Drake's peak right now.
It's pretty wild.
But how will it age?
Yeah. Oh, that's the question.
Yeah, like will his music stand the test of time?
Right.
Or will it be like a time capsule?
A moment in time.
Yeah, of like 2010s, 2020s.
It's a question every artist faces, I think,
Yeah, for sure.
when they reach that level.
Especially at that level.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it. Like, he's kind of pioneered all these trends.
It has.
Like that whole singing, rapping blend.
Yeah, early adopter for sure.
Embracing global sounds, being like an artist entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's a businessman.
Yeah, like these are things that are probably going to stick around.
They're going to influence the industry for a long time.
Yeah, so even if like tastes change, some of his hits fade,
His fingerprints are all over
it's
it.
had an impact.
Yeah, like we still feel the impact of the Beatles today, right?
Right.
Even if, the average person isn't listening to Sgt. Pepper's every day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But they changed things.
They did.
And Drake's doing the same thing.
Speaking of changing things, we have to talk about Toronto. Like, he is synonymous with that city.
He put it on the map, yeah.
Like an unofficial ambassador.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about music.
Right.
It's like he's shown the world what a city can be.
He's given it a global spotlight.
Yeah, it's about representation. It's about pride.
And that's a powerful thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We have
From Degrassi to global superstardom,
the full journey.
mixtapes to mogul.
Yeah, we went deep.
We went deep on Drake.
Deep dive.
We've analyzed his music, his business moves,
The controversies.
the controversy. Yeah, it's complicated.
He's a complex guy.
He is, but like the
Yeah.
question remains.
Yeah, what's the legacy?
What is the legacy of Drake?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's one answer.
I don't either.
We've given you the info, we've given you the different perspectives.
Like, laid it all out.
Now it's up to you.
Yeah, what do you think?
What does Drake mean to you?
What's his impact been on you?
How will he be remembered?
Yeah, big questions.
It's been fun
It has been fun.
exploring the world of Drake.
It's been a wild ride.
It has.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And until next time,
Keep it deep.
keep exploring, keep questioning,
Keep the conversation going.
and we'll see you on the next deep dive.